Okay, what an auspicious day. The saying goes, bees in May, worth a bale of hay, bees in July, bees in June, worth a silver spoon, bees in July, not worth a fly. It's the 30th of June, and my bees have just come. They're not my bees. The bees are the best beekeepers. I'm a custodian of bees. I've got a great rebel beehive made of cedar wood. I've had it there baiting them with lemongrass. Check my stories in a bit, and they've just landed. My son just came in and said, Dad, the bees have come. And I just kind of leave it, right? I've got this big giant quartz crystal, silica, and the bees have come. So I wasn't really looking to do Tesla machines. I wasn't looking to do the antiques. I've been father first, 20 odd plus years, doing the whole holistic thing. I had a great vet. So and that was during the whole foot and mouth. And around the same time then, over in America, you had specific things going on with people like Carrie Mullis. So since I was about 10, I've been really wondering why things have happened. And I've really I kind of went a different direction to the mainstream at about age 10, when it came to, if it's not broken, why fix it? And I feel like often when you're little, you can have things put onto you without your consent. People don't really have, depending on your parents, and this is no judgment on my parents, depends on the conversations that you have. Now, me and Kate as parents, we always have conversations with the whole family. So, and everything's decided amongst us, and we kind of hold counsel and we make these decisions and we move forward. I think it's a great way to operate, especially with these little people that don't have a voice, that can be understood by the people out there. And you can often get into trouble for understanding what your little children are saying to you before they're actually speaking words that can be understood by useful idiots. But parents know, right? You know what your kids are saying, don't you? You have this intuitive connection to your children, don't you? They're an extension of yourself, aren't they? So anyway. I was going to be quite selfish today, and I don't usually do the selfish thing. I was going to go to Aberystwyth and buy some cigars, because I'd run out of tobacco and I wanted a cigar, not a tobacco. So I was driving. It was a really hot day. And what I've noticed now every day is you end up with a beautiful day, and then by the end of the day, it does this. By the end of the day, it does this. That. Right, this is becoming normal. Right, every day, right? So you have a beautiful day, and then by the end of the day, you got that, right? Folks, that ain't normal. That is not little fluffy clouds. That is not normal. I'm sorry. Like, you know, like to your normies, it's normal, but to me, that ain't normal. It's like they're making a computer screen sky. But anyway, so I went out. The weather was blue. It was really hot, and I was going to go in the ocean. I was like, why am I doing this? I was like, right, I'm being pulled. And I'm reading a really good book at the moment called Frabetto, the Magician, on a great white magician during the times of the National Socialist Party in Germany. And apparently there's like 99 lodges, and in these lodges, you know, the dark lodges are essentially working for Shaitan, for Satan. And what I'm noticing right now is the sky's really dirty as well. So if I go off in little places, I will always come back, right? But I'm kind of talking about the weather, the geoengineering, magicians. You kind of got to go out, right? If you're going to talk about one thing, you kind of got to go out into the expanse, haven't you? Because if you're going to talk about Dr. Anna Mahalacia and Nano, or if you're going to talk about TZLA machine, you then got to zoom out, and then you've got to have this greater, bigger picture, haven't you? You know, because what happens is they'll pull you in to this like one thing, and they'll go, oh, look at why, you know, I went and, like yesterday then there was another Jeff Berwick video with this military soldier with his long plait, and he's in Mexico, and he's just like so intelligent. It's so much intelligence. It was like the male version of Sabrina Wallace. Like what he's saying is he's another Sabrina Wallace. So I wonder how many Sabrina Wallaces are out there. And it looks really quite interesting, these children, right? They're like super intelligent. Now, if we then backtrack to the harp, now I've just kind of jumped, right? You'd be like, Zish, you were just talking about a black magician, these black magicians and the white magician, and then you've just gone to the sky. You know, this is what Sabrina Wallace says. Then you've gone to the sky, and then you've gone to like Sabrina Wallace. It's like, what's going on? Well, it's just off the cuff, right? It's just off the cuff. I'm trying to tell you this story about, I went out and I was going to go and get my cigar, and it was all about me. I'm going to go and get my cigar. And because I'd been reading this book about this magician, the magician eventually gets free from from Germany, and he's back home in Czechoslovakia, and he's meeting with these other people. And I love that time because like magicians would stand up, and people would go in, like hundreds of people would go and sit down and listen to Joseph Murphy or Paramahansa Yogananda. It really was an age of enlightenment, I do believe, in my heart. I think people were much more innocent, much more curious, and you know, your doctor, your chemist, many people were just having these wonderfully engaging questions about life. I think that's beautiful, isn't it? Rather than being fed through the television and fed through the radio and fed all the, you know, I guess back then it was the newspaper. So it was kind of creeping in, wasn't it? The newspaper, the propaganda, it's kind of creeping in. Then they start taking this wonderful Tesla technology and this wonderful Crookes technology and this wonderful Rontgen technology. And they take all these amazing technology. It wasn't just Tesla, was it? There was all these other people playing with glass tubes and minerals and crystals and, you know, just really, really quite expansive what was going on back then. I'm just looking at it from the health, right? But you can look at it from the chemists. You can look at, you know, and there were little battles going on back then. You had your battles going on between C.S. Lewis, all these kind of like the Inklings, this kind of Christian Western mystic school of thought. And then you had this other school of thought, like your eugenicists, like your H.G. Wells, you know, selling you this story of like this alien and the sci-fi, right? But then C.S. Lewis kind of came in, and he came in with his little battle of the sci-fi trilogy. So there's always going to be a kickback. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Kate! Shoki! Yeah. All right. So I was off to get this cigar, right? But while I was reading this book today about the magician was asking the scientist who was questioning about the occult and the mysteries of things, he was asking him, did he have control of who he is? And they made this little wager, right? Are you going to, I can guarantee that you will be at the, you know, let's just, all intents and purposes, you'll be at the Bierkeller tonight at the Wunderpust, you know, you're going to be there tonight. And he's going, I am not going to be there tonight. I'm going to do everything I can to not be there tonight. I think he was like a chemist. He's like, I'm not going to be there tonight. Now, this chemist goes home and he's like, I ain't going to be there tonight. There's no way I'm going to be there tonight. But this chemist was also a patron of the arts. So they knock at the door and all these like artists come in and they want to get out this fine wine, and maybe they're smoking some fine tobacco, and maybe they're dancing to the Charleston, and before he knows it, he's out. And they're going out and they're drinking their bottles of wine and they're going all out, and then things happen and the night escalates, and before he knows it, he's at that place because he took the drink, he forgot himself. And so today I'm off to get that cigar, and there's this moment where I'm going up the hill and I'm thinking, but this is about me wanting that cigar. And I'm like, and I was being pulled by the want to go to my cigar shop, which is like 1800 cigar shop. I want to go there, this memory of being a child, going to that cigar shop. And I really want to go to that cigar shop. And it's really hot. And then I get to the junction where I'm to go to the cigar shop. And in that moment, I just went, because I'm listening then, I'm learning about hermetics and and being a better version of yourself. And if you want things in your life to change, you've really got to change. If you don't make any change and you expect change, I actually want change. But there's nothing wrong with me inside, but I actually do want change. So like, if you do want change and you're not prepared to make any change, and you actually think you're going to have change by not making any change, that's insanity, isn't it? So I'm ready to go and get my tobacco, and I just go, no, I'm going to get the manure. And in that moment, I wrote to my friend Sheila. I said, Sheila, can I come and get manure? She didn't reply to me, and I had an open invitation to go to this place that I had a very spiritual experience, probably about, God, time's moving so fast, probably about, how long ago were we at in Lampeter? 5 years ago, I had this very amazing experience. And 5 years ago, I had this amazing experience where I was on this mountain of manure where I went to today. And then I jump onto the bus, and I'm off to go and get my before Corona, and I wanted to go off and go before the boogeyman. I wanted to go off and get some flour from this lovely lady at her little mill where she milled the flour, and it's all biodynamic flour. And I've gone to this mill, and I get on the bus, and usually on the bus it's a free bus. Usually on the bus it's Romanians and immigrants are usually on the bus, because there's never usually anyone that's speaking English. But mind you, even the Welsh people don't speak English. So it was an unusual day. But for this day, there was no immigrants. They were all Welsh people. And I was like, ooh, this is unusual. They're all Welsh people. Wonder what's going down. And I haven't even washed. And I'm sat on the bus and I'm covered in manure, because I've just been up on this mountain that I've been on today, covered in all this manure, been in all the earthworms and the mushrooms, and feeling really, really good in all this beautiful light. That's the highest point in Wales here in this region. And I'm like, what is going on? And it was St. David's Day. Now, if you look at the flag of St. David's, it's black and gold. And in that moment, the new chapter of the Black Gold Garden emerged. Now today, and I was like, I could have gone and got my cigar, I could have gone and done all that, and I went, no, I'm going to get the manure for the family, to build the soil, to grow the food, because that's really what I want to be doing, right? I want to have cows, I want to have sheep, I want to have my own homestead. And I went off and I got onto the mountain, did the manure. And then I came home, went straight into it. I had a cold bath. I did a grey salt, borax, Epsom salt, sodium bicarbonate, lemon oil, and petitgrain, which is really good. If you're a man and you want to make change, use the petitgrain. You put it by your navel. So I jumped in that cold bath and I just laid there and I did the Jesus prayer. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. I jump in the cold bath. I'm just showing you, like, it's not to prove anything. I'm just sharing with you that I want change, and I will do what I need to do to make change. And I can do these things. I've done Qigong for over 30 days. I like to do I've changed my handwriting for over 30 days. My handwriting is never the same, because I did the Weimar alphabet, because I was inspired by Louise L. Hay. I'm inspired by, by greatness. I'm inspired by, when I first heard Bob Proctor, he was shouting at me. He was actually shouting at me, and I was like, oh my God, this guy's like 80 and he's shouting at me. And then you go and listen to Louise L. Hay, she's really soothing, and and then you listen to what's his name, Tony Robbins, and he's going like, God's wealth is circulating in my life, all my needs, desires and wants are instantaneous, I'm one with God and God is everything. And you're running, you're like, yeah, God's wealth is circulating in my life, all my needs, desires and wants. So you really want that change, right? You genuinely do. And then next thing you know, like, you're thinking about walled gardens and you're thinking about fires, and you're living in a walled garden and you've got a fire. But you've got to be really, really got to craft the vision of what you want. Now, a month ago, I was like, the bees are going to come. Now, if you haven't had the bees, you don't know the bees are going to come, but you've got to see the swarm. Once you've seen the swarm and you know what the swarm's like and you've got the smell of it, the bees are going to come. And I was like, the bees are going to come. So I moved my hive from up there. I put the hive down here. I put the lemongrass there, and I was like, the bees are going to come. And a few days ago, I looked up at the tree and I could hear the bees. I'm like, the bees are going to come. And my son just came in then when I was just doing my work, because I'm continuously working. There's so much to do. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. I'm answering questions, doing the Tesla machines, got to do my trading. There's loads of shit I got to do. and I'm trying to get my structure and my schedule right because I've got so much to do and there's not enough time in the day and time's speeding up. And then they're like, the bees have come, and I'm like, yes, the bees have come. So I'm like, wow, this is awesome. And the bee, what colour is the bee? Black and gold. Do you see? It's beautiful. So for me, this is amazing, and they're geoengineering us, and there's all this shit, and you could go all black pill, and you could go and listen to Jeff Berwick, and I can only do like a minute or two. I have to have homeopathic doses of these people because it's too, like, it's too much. Like, you go and do, like, how many sittings of Sabrina Wallace, and you try and get your head into, like, what are they talking about? Wide body area network, digital twin, you know, all this kind of stuff, you know, quantum AI. Like, yeah, the quantum AI, it's, you know, Zeesh, you're not tuning into your intuition, you're being controlled by the AI. I'm like, okay, well, if you're controlling me and you're telling me to go and get my cigar, I ain't going to go and get your cigar, Zeesh. Get out of here. I'm going to go get the manure. I'm going to put my hands in the soil. I'm going to touch the grass. I'm going to move that manure and get it onto the land and focus and get focused and get better every single day. Right, so there's that out of the way. That's out of the way. It's been an amazing day. It was amazing up there, actually, really high altitude. So I've had people, I'm going to like try and backtrack now on some of the questions and things that people have been asking me over the last few days. There's been a really good, strong interest on the antique Tesla machines. Now, all of my antique Tesla machines are from a specific period where we had specific schools of high frequency. So we had the Dutch school of high frequency. And I've got this little atlas at the moment, and it literally says on there, and I think, who had the one? My friend Ange had this one, and it literally says on there, the Dutch school of high frequency. So I've got a few machines that are the Dutch school of high frequency. The atlas is there's not many of them, and they kind of come and they kind of go. We've got another large atlas incoming, but it's sold. It's gone. That's like, I think it's like 24 electrode set. And then there's a small baby atlas. And so, but if anyone's got any questions about the technology, so I'm a very firm believer, like, I am not doing C60. If you're doing C60, you know, you got to take a rain check on the C60 because NASA deemed it a modern day asbestos, right? I get the whole buckyballs. I get all of that stuff. I think he was a great human being, Buckminster Fuller. I don't think there's any C60 that you can sell me that I'm going to put into my body. Because graphene and fullerenes, they're literally harder than a diamond and stronger than steel. You combine that with your silica, you combine that with your ivermectin, you combine that with your methylene blue, you combine that with your EDTA, you combine that with what you're listening to, you combine that with deciding that you're a parasite, you combine that with becoming all these problems that you think you have that you just don't have. They're just playing with you. The generative AI, if you subscribe to that, is playing with you. If I'm not being sucked into the black pill, I'm going to look at fluffy puppies. You're still being pulled into the generative AI. But it's good to know that you're being pulled into the generative AI. They're harvesting your data. You are in the internet of everything. If you're not watching this and you're on an island, or you're on some ship and you're not plugged into the internet and you're not doing, but then, you're not on the Wi-Fi, because I'm on the Wi-Fi right now, correct? So what I can do now is I can take my boots off, and I can put my feet on the ground, and I can ground in. I'm grounding now. Ooh, and the wind just came out. So now I'm grounding in. And what you could do then, you could go like this. Yeah, I'm not even touching the phone now, am I? Got my glasses on. I can use some oil. What's this one? Bay leaf oil from Des Rosier. As good as any doTERRA oil. I did doTERRA for years, but doTERRA's too expensive, right? I want more oils for my money. Right, there you go. That's how you use your oils, on your neck. Straight into the brain. Nobody's putting anything up my nose. I'm putting this up my nose. Thank you very much. And you can go like this. You can go like this. You can go just because I was just doing what I'm sharing with you about doing, right? I love Qigong and stuff like that. If you just do this every day, if I can do these every day with you guys and start to get myself healthier, if I can start to get myself healthier every day and share ideas with you that help you and help me, and we all help each other, because a rising tide lifts all ships, and we can talk about all this stuff, this black pill stuff, but are we going to get consumed with the black pill stuff? Yeah, the geoengineering, and, you know, we're over the enemy lines. What are the strategies that we can implement as we go over the enemy lines? Because they're out of sync, they're in synthetic, and they are compartmentalized. They are R2D2, they are short-circuiting, aren't they? So what we can do is ask ourselves, how are we to remain human? How am I to remain human in this post-human world? So we have to be really careful who we're listening to. We have to be really careful. We even have to look into, like, what's going on with this human being? Why are you telling people to take EDTA? Why are you telling people to take methylene blue, Dr. Jack Cruz, Dr. Anna Mahalacia? Why are you spreading all this fear? Well, have you been watching The Matrix? Have you been watching Terminator 2? Have you been watching Star Trek? Are you so consumed by all these films that you're becoming these films, and that all this stuff has been dropped into your subconscious and you're becoming that because you thought you had Lyme's disease, then you had synthetic biology? What if you don't have any of those things? What if you're engineered with, like, just great success, and you just need to just break free of all these ideas and just keep pushing forward with the truth that will set you free? And that's why I work with the original antique Tesla technology, because it's incorporating the truth and the all of everything. If we're in a post-truth world, how important is it to get back to things that are truthful, that are whole, that are complete? The AI is only ever as good as the greatness that you install into it, right? If they've been feeding it lies, then that's not a very good thing to teach a child, is it? When the AI is a child, but they go, well, no, the AI isn't a child. The AI is very advanced. It's now generative AI. It's more intelligent than a human. No, it's not. It's just intelligence. Yeah, you sat with Mr. Jeff is just intelligence. The guy with the funny eyes that just got killed, may he rest in peace. He is just intelligence. Ask them something and explain it to a child. Ask them something and explain it to your grandmother. Go and talk to I can't remember his name now, Ken Wheeler, and say to Ken Wheeler, say, hey Ken, what is magnetism? And Ken will tell you what magnetism is. Will you understand? Now, if you're very intelligent, like some of you here might be uber intelligent, right? I'm not the smartest man in the room. I'm not that intelligent. So when I hear someone then like Ken Wheeler, who's a genius, like, you know, like masterful, literate, rhetoric, grammar, logic human being, trained in Plotinus, and fantastic human being. But he explains what magnetism is, and I don't understand a word of what he's saying. Now, if you go to Sir Eric Braithwaite from Imperial College London, and ask him what is magnetism, he'll be honest with you. He'll say, we don't know. You can watch the most recent Primordial. They don't even know what water is. They don't know much. Like, you go back to the days of Plato and Aristotelian, they don't know. You don't know much. They obviously, I think, knew a lot more than what we know today, but they probably wouldn't really ever, they would have these great conversations, I imagine. They'd have these great debates, and they'd probably realise that they just didn't know. And I think, isn't that the amazing thing? Is that, what, do you want to know everything? Do you need to know everything? Do you need to know, like, why do we get so obsessed with trying to heal ourselves rather than just, like, nourishing ourselves? You might be like, well, Zish, isn't that, like, some sort of paradox or whatever? It's like, no. Like, if you get so obsessed, like, imagine this, right? You've got a friend, and you think you're really well, but you want to help your friend, and you want to heal them. And I pick up on this quite a lot, and I always think to myself, I don't want to be that person that's like all the other people telling them what they can do that will actually help. But I do have some, like, for example, if you can't sleep, there are things that you can do to help you sleep. And I probably will recommend some of those things. But what I could say is like, well, actually, I sleep really well, and I know what works for me. Like, what are you doing that's working for you? And so for me, like, personally, like, what I love to do to sleep is take things like spikenard essential oil, a little bit of vetiver essential oil, maybe a little bit of cherry juice. I like to have a nice little cup of tea before bed with like some goji berries, and I sleep like a baby. Maybe a little bit too deep asleep, but I do sleep really, really well. So I think I'm quite adjusted and equipped to share ideas with people that actually work for helping people to sleep better. But I think the most important thing that you can do is to nourish yourself and to be really happy with where you are in this place, because you're not a diabetes, you're not anything, you're not a diagnosis. That's just something that a man decided that you're just a diagnosis. You're much more than a stupid diagnosis. Yes, you're engineered with greatness. You're engineered with You're engineered with greatness. You're engineered. You're engineered with the great tools of wisdom, because when it's based on compartmentalized lies and conflict of interest, who do you trust? So when you start tinkering with like antique technology that is based on ether, that is based on elements, that is based on magnetism and electricity, and it exudes beauty, then you're like, wow, this is actually really awesome. And you look at the old literature, you don't just stop there, right? You then look at the literature for the medicine. You then look at the literature of the food. You then look at the maps. If you can't explain it to a kid, you can't explain it to a grandmother, like, what on earth are we doing, right? Like, why on earth would anybody want to take diatomaceous earth? Why on earth would anybody want to take C60? Why on earth would anybody want to take any of this crazy loony stuff? What's that? While I'm on here? Okay. I'm outside though, aren't I? This is my, like, break time. Okay, all right, I'm going to wrap this up anyway. This was the ramblings of a mutually assured destructive man. That's what Frank Zappa said, didn't he? Mutually assured destruction. So while we're dealing with the war pigs, while we're dealing with the machine gun, Jimi Hendrix, while we're dealing with the Bob Dylan, while we're dealing with this war machine keeps turning, how are you to confidently develop and to grow? If you're concerned about nano, build an anti-nano triangle. Learn how to build an anti-nano triangle. Study why silica is not good for you. Look into how terahertz, look into how all of these things interact with each other. You have to look at how they all interact with each other. You have to look at how the spooky device, the TENS machine, the PEMF machines, the Healy machines, maybe some of the bulbs on the TZLA machine. You have to research, and it's not about the quantity of all the things that you have, it's about the quality of the things that you have. It's about consistency, doing small things consistent over a long period of time. Brother Zish focuses on all things related to metabolism. That's what I focus on. If you believe in metabolism, I focus on the metabolism. If you believe in cellular health, I focus on all ideas around cellular health. I really think that you can attain a lot from your energy, the chi energy, right? You want the chi in the food, the chi in the medicine, and the chi in the technology. You know, if you're nourishing yourself and you're not stressing yourself out with, am I chlorine dioxide? Am I diatomaceous earth? Am I parasite? Am I all these things? Rather than doing all that, elevate, lift, take the I out of illness, put it into wellness, collaborate with other like minds and hearts, get into your fermented foods, your Sandor cats, get into the Weston A. Price Foundation. Dr. Jubb, Dr. Young, great human beings when it comes to the work in the microscope. But do you listen to them? Patrick Flanagan, great human being with the pyramids. Was it the pyramid with the negative green connected, made amazing pyramids? Or was it the mega hydrate? I think I'd rather go with the pyramid with no negative green over the mega hydrate, because that's the silica. How does the silica interact? How many white papers have you seen? Have you only seen the white paper of the person selling you the C60? Have you only seen the white paper of the person selling you the zeolite? Have you then gone in and looked at the toxicology of that zeolite and how that zeolite as a technology interacts with the Internet of Everything, the Internet of Biothings, and the wide body area network? So if you believe that you have nanosensors in your body, if you believe in all that AI stuff and all that stuff, and I reckon there is some credence to it, and if that is true, what can you do? So then you get into the electrostatic devices, you get into your Wimhurst machines, Van de Graaff generators, multi-wave oscillator, true Rife machines, true multi-wave oscillators, true Tesla machines, true Rife machines, true Reich technology. I've got I've got papers so you can build things in one of my Telegram groups. I've got literature so you can study the invisible rainbow. You can look into Ilana Freeland's work. I think Ilana Freeland's great because Ilana Freeland is not a black pill. She is a solution-based, enthusiastic human being that is just fighting a great fight. And so, no nanoproducts, no dodgy things on your skin, no dodgy things in your washing up powder, no dodgy synthetic fibers. You know, this is the only thing I wear that is synthetic fiber. And the reason I wear it is because it says the future looks bright. But at any given moment, this is off. This is kind of like my shield, right? When I'm out in the world. But as soon as it's off, right? And I'm back to my usual stuff, right? So focus. But actually, I think that is quite important. But this is the only thing in my life that is synthetic. The water is spring water. I'm using the essential oils. I'm doing the A2 dairy, the fermented foods, the essential oils. We're doing everything as best as we can. We're going to look, if someone brings me a TZLA machine and we look at it and then we go, oh, look at this, what is this? And we're going to have a joke about it and we're going to look at it with different smart ideas of knowledge, truth, wisdom and understanding in if this stuff is true. And then the reason we like to work with the original antique technology is because it's got air in there and gases in there before geoengineering. The sun's coming out. Look, the sun's coming out before the geoengineering. It's got wonderful plasma. They were using colors. They were using specific colors. I do genuinely believe in my heart that they were in an age of enlightenment. They were in an age of enlightenment. They were in a place of truth. The physician was a physician. It's beautiful, really. Anyway, this is me, Brother Zish. I'm going to chime out now. I just wanted to chime in because my bees had landed. I was having a hyper-synchronistic day. And I think that if you want things in your life to change, and by this point, if you've got all the gear, and now you're feeling like maybe you don't have any idea, like maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board and just refine. Like, if I bring one thing in, this is the extra mile. If I bring one thing in, like I'm doing my Tesla machines, I'm doing my electrostatic devices. I don't stop with the Tesla machine, right? I'm in this. I'm in this. I love it. I'm all in as a father. So I'm in this as a collector. And then I just so happen to have some that I can sell and share with you and help you get your machine. We're at service. We are at service. We're serving. This is the modus operandi. I'm building the anti-nano triangles. I actually resisted building the anti-nano triangles. And then through a lot of tears and pain, I found this Tesla technology. A lot of tears. Spirit is always seeking greatest, fullest expression and expansion. And the vision will push you. The pain will push you until the vision pulls you. And it's a very strong vision that's pulling me with this. So I'm like learning about the Tesla machines, and I'm learning then about the anti-nano triangles, because you're only ever as good as the questions that you got. And then from getting into the Tesla machines and, you know, wanting to help people, and hey, I sell the machines. If you want one, I've got a machine. I've got little ones, big ones, all kinds of size ones. We tried to make some brand new ones. It kind of went a bit pear-shaped. We like the original ones, right? The retaining of the beauty. Something quite unique about what was. They don't build things like they used to, do they? They don't make things like they used to. They built things to last. They built things with intention, with quality in mind. The women were winding the coils. The men were blowing the glass. This was all in-house, closed-loop systems. And then in comes Slim Sperling, 144 hertz, sacred qubit. Yeah, gentlemen been building these pyramids and stargates for the last 30 years. And then I'm like, wow, who is this Slim Sperling? And I start learning about Slim Sperling. So, okay, I'm going to end it now. So the reason but I just wanted to share that last thing. It's like you don't stop. And when you're in it, other people magnetize, and then they bring you the Slim Sperling, and you're like, oh my God, this is so good. Slim Sperling's awesome. So like it starts to open up the ideas, and then these radiesthesia people come into your life, and because you're all in, right? If you're all into something, it's more than just anything. It's just like you're all in. You want to learn. You're like hungry to learn. It's like, and it keeps the brain youthful. There we go. There's another thing. By learning something new every year, you keep the brain youthful. And on that note, have a great day from my heart to yours. It's Brother Zish. Not getting older, we're getting stronger by the day. And on that note, have a great day from my heart to yours. And happy Monday. The bees have landed. Yippee!